IEEE Art sponsored panel of conference organizers, POCO workshop, organized by IEEE Kochi subsection. I'm sure that the eminent speakers will guide you these days in conducting quality IEEE conferences and meetings in the future. Today evening, we will be having 3 sessions by the eminent speakers from 6:30 to 7, 7:15 to 7:45, and 8 to 8:30. To begin with our first session, we have with us Dr. Ramalatha Marimuthu, a renowned teacher and extremely humanitarian, currently holding the position of Secretary, IEEE Computer Science Society, Professor at Kumaraguru College of Technology, Coimbatore, India. This task of introducing her, our chief guest today, is a great privilege to me. Dr. Ramalatha Marimuthu has got vast experience in motivating and training students on skill development and peer networking. Her specialization in developing solutions for societal issues has been recognized by various universities and research organizations all over the world, where she has delivered invited talks on her assistive technology-based projects. She has grants, funded projects, and publications which have enhanced her teaching and delivery over the 3 decades of her teaching career, and has won her Best Teacher Award many times. She has served in many leadership roles as Chair of Departments, Controller of Examinations, Chairperson of Evaluation Boards, and Curriculum Development Boards. She has taken over many leadership roles in IEEE, including chairing the IEEE Women in Engineering Committee in 2011 and 2012. Currently, she is on the board of governors of the IEEE Society on Social Implications of Technology and has founded the Women in Engineering subcommittee under the society. She launched an exclusive project, Sangamam, for the transfer of technology to rural areas, which focused on improving quality of life for the rural masses. This project won her the Anita Borg Institute Challenge Agent Award in 2012. Based on her work to improve the quality of life for the rural society as well as people with special needs, she was awarded the 2008 IEEE MGA Achievement Award and the 2009 Lifetime Achiever Award by the Lions Club International, 2009 Mentor Award by the Secretariat for the Disabled, the Government of Tamil Nadu, and the 2012 IEEE MGA Leadership Award. She was awarded the 2014 ABI Sisters Pass It On Award for her Returning Mothers project. Recently, she won the 2016 Be Inspiring Member of the Year Award from the IEEE Women in Engineering Committee. If we take a closer look at the alchemy of an achieving person, 2 distinct virtues pop up besides perseverance and hard work. These are pioneering spirit and willingness. So, Dr. Ramalatha is with us for the first session, and she will handle the session on plagiarism, quality check, and evaluation. We cordially welcome you, ma'am, for the second day.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, right. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this POCO for inviting me to deliver a speech on plagiarism, quality check, and evaluation. I've organized conferences, but more importantly, I'm organizing one international talent show called Assist 12 every year from 2016, completely sponsored by IEEE, World Bank, and Rotary Club. Now, in this international talent show, we are not presenting any papers, but equally important things. We are presenting projects. All over the world, we have nearly 43 pilots. And these 43 pilots will be conducting the prelims and sending one team for our finals, which means that there is a kind of double-blind review here. So I feel that the quality and quality should not be compromised in any situation, and how to go about this quality, not only in projects, but also the papers, which will be the culmination of the projects into papers. Usually whatever results we find out of the projects only are going to be presented as papers. So unless otherwise you have your own original work, we will not be able to present it. And during the presentation also, how we should maintain that ethicality, that is what I'm going to talk about. So what is plagiarism? Types of plagiarism. What will be the consequences of plagiarism? How to check for the plagiarism policies, evaluation of a paper, and best practices are my contents today. Out of this, the first three will be from the side of the author, and the next four will be from the side of the organizers. So I'm going to cover both the sides. So why is it important for us to maintain our own results of the projects as secrecy till we publish it? Or why it is necessary for us to patent it or gain control over it, or at least record the rights over it? I'm just giving two instances where, just because the gentleman who invented the electric bulb and also the initial stages of the radio receiver, they did not patent it, and we all know what happened. It was claimed by other people as their own inventions. And of course, there might be some other circumstances there where it was probably an extension of the original idea, or it was just not accepted by the then people, and so the inventor agreed to sell it over to the other persons. That is okay. But still, the necessary thing here is to maintain the ethical practices. If I do not invent something, I don't have any right to claim it. And I can cite it from the other source, but that was not done in these cases. So this is what an important thing to consider while doing a project. And if you are very confident that you have done something new, invented new, go for patenting, please. So what is research? Research is combination of different ideas. And I was actually inspired by this. To steal ideas from one person is plagiarism. If you steal it from many people, it becomes research. Of course, at the initial stage of doing the research, we all do this. We get the ideas from the different persons because we need to know the basics of the research that we have embarked upon. We might know a little about the area, that's why we are interested, but we don't know what has already happened in this area over the period of probably 10 years and in different parts of the world. So we need to study, we need to go through all the recordings of the outcomes from the research. And the only thing is, when we reproduce it, how we should reproduce it. That is what is important to avoid plagiarism. Am I not audible?
Yes, madam, you can proceed.
Okay. So the next thing is, we are going to talk about the plagiarism. I found some of the definitions for plagiarism like this in the websites, of course. According to Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary, it means that stealing and passing off the ideas without their permission as our own. And there is also another dimension to this. Even if you steal some idea and if you pass it off the other one, the other people might have done the same. So it has become an expanded one now, where the source is. Finding the source might be difficult for us, but still, as a researcher, you are entitled to find that source and credit that source. And there is one more thing as self-plagiarism, where we might be able to rewrite the same idea which we have already presented. Even that is considered to be plagiarism. So in research, in the strict sense of the word, plagiarism means when you are presenting a paper, copying large pieces of text from a source without citing that source, or even taking some small pieces from each source, from multiple sources, and putting them together and making it into a work of our own. Because many of the students now think, I am the one who wrote it, so it is mine. But from where they have taken it, they just fail to cite it. And they think that just because they have written that, it means that it is all right. So that is what we are going to discuss now. These are all the types of plagiarism, the definition and the level of the severity. This also I took from internet only, from Scribber, which is supposed to be a very good website for articles on plagiarism, quality check, and other things. So the types of plagiarism can be different, like global plagiarism, paraphrasing plagiarism, verbatim plagiarism, Mosaic plagiarism, self-plagiarism, and incorrect citation. Now let us see what each one means. Taking an entire work of someone and presenting it to be as our own. This I have seen in my earlier stages of research, when I saw some of my students bringing in papers from a journal, claiming that they got it from a journal. They openly say that they got it from a journal, but at the same time they say that this journal is not known to everyone, so I took it, as if it means that it is okay. So that also happened in earlier period, but right now I don't think anyone is taking a full published paper and pass it off as their own publication. But still, that is called global plagiarism. And one more thing is asking other persons to write a paper, to do the project, to write the paper for you, and then submitting it in your own name without even including the other person's name. Again, that is plagiarism. I have also come across such instances when I was in IEEE Madras section in 2004 to 5. Then usually students do this, submitting an assignment written by someone, or submitting an assignment they have submitted for another course, maybe after a year or so, bringing it to this course, thinking that it is their own work, so there is no plagiarism. But once they have got credit for that, it doesn't mean that you cannot, you can use it for another course to get credit for the same work again. Then buying others' work, taking advantage of their need of money or inability to record the work in their name. This is what I explained about when I explained about the need for patenting. So what will be the impact of it? The impact of this global plagiarism will be that it will be very easy for the other people to find out that you are unethical, and it will definitely reflect very badly on your name. Next, paraphrasing plagiarism. Since we have explained the global plagiarism, I think this is easy to understand. So this one, paraphrasing, it means just going through some text and understanding the gist of it, and then rephrasing it in your own words and submitting it without citing the original source. In every instance, we mean that you have to cite the original source. You can take the idea and present it, but you should not present it as if it is your own. You should cite the original source, saying that these are all the ideas I got from this sources. And with that, I have come to the conclusion this. Yes, that is literature survey. That's what we do. But the one thing that we need to do is cite this source. And idea theft. Idea theft is the most important thing that we need to consider here. And usually this happens in most of the research-oriented institutions also. And after some time, it becomes a problem for the person who has done that theft. Then translation of books. Translation of books from one language to another without the permission of the author and without the citing of the original author. That also is plagiarism. Verbatim plagiarism. Here, usually in literature survey, people tend to say that this this group has suggested this, and the suggestion they used to copy from the paper itself, from the original paper itself, their own conclusion or their own words. That is also plagiarism. You have to understand it. You have to mean that these people have suggested this conclusion, but that should be in your own words. And naturally, all the plagiarism checkers are able to find out how much of text you have copied from different sources and what's the point of copying it there. Then Mosaic plagiarism. This is what I meant when you copy from different sources and reorganize it into a new article, or even using different sources to get a part of your article. Even that is considered to be plagiarism. And most popular one here is the research paper submissions. At least 60 to 70% of the paper people cover using literature survey and copying verbatim from those sources. And that's how the amount of plagiarism increases in a paper. Then incorrect citation. If you avoid citing the source, then again it is plagiarism. If you have not given the correct information, the year of publication and from where the source has been taken, that is also plagiarism. And to help us, actually, different styles of citations are available. You just have to click on the paper and automatically it lists out all these citations from which you can just copy paste to your reference. It is very easy. You need not even format it now. So right now, citing any paper becomes very easy because of the formatting and also because of the structured output or structured publication. This is what I talked about when students do the assignments, copying it from the original one or submitting the original one itself as a second one. But whatever it is, if you are submitting it for a second credit, it becomes plagiarism. So the number of credits that you are getting, that is the key. So these are the consequences. First thing might be probably delayed or rejected publication if it is a journal. They might come back to you asking for reducing the percentage of plagiarism if they think that the idea has not been stolen, but only the structure and the words that have been used have plagiarism. If your original work has been clearly cited, clearly given here, then probably it might be delayed. But if your original work is not clearly explained, if they are not convinced, if the reviewers are not convinced that there is an amount of good work that has to be published here, then you might have a rejected publication also. Then the second one is copyright infringement. Again, if it is a self-plagiarism, the copyright infringement might not be there, but still some journals consider it to be plagiarism. And if the source is other than yours, naturally this will lead to legal consequences too. But most importantly, our name and fame will be lost. As an author, we will be losing our credibility. We will be losing our ethical outcome as an author when you are producing so much of work, so much of results. All your work is now it goes to a waste. You will be blacklisted for further conferences in many of the instances. Now, this is on the author's side. Now, let us go to the conference organizer's side. How to do the quality check? How to check the plagiarism? The plagiarism checking is now very easy because of a lot of plagiarism checkers that are available on free versions as well as paid versions. But paid versions are the ones which are used by IEEE conferences mostly. So it is both the ways. The plagiarism has also become easy and the quality check also has become easy. So at first, as a conference organizer, we should be sure that whatever we are publishing only authentic work. So the plagiarism checker should be a proper one. And fortunately, IEEE produces our own plagiarism software, so we don't have to worry about that. But still, I'm talking about the general conference organizers. These are a small list of the plagiarism checking software. The first initial ones are the most used ones. And there are free versions as well as paid versions in these. And each one has its own use. For example, in Grammarly, it is going to help the author not only for the plagiarism check, but also to make it a presentable paper, just like grammar checking and also improving the presentation. So this kind of additional inputs are also given by the plagiarism checking software. So the authors, they themselves can use this software not only for plagiarism checking, but also for improving their own writing and getting inputs on grammar correction, paper presentation, and also sometimes in the way the structure is given for a paper. So for IEEE conferences, we have the IEEE cross-check. It can be used by any publication volunteer at any time. And it is a standalone web portal developed by the IEEE along with the IEEE legal department. So there is also a training kind of a course available in IEEE Center for Leadership Excellence, so that the conference organizers or the volunteers who are in charge of the publication committee, they can go and go through this training courses to learn about. Now, let us see what will be the consequences or what will be the steps for doing this. It is mandatory for the organizers to check all the papers through cross-check, and the technical program chair can determine how the policies of the plagiarism checking for their own conference is going to be, when it has to occur, whether it is at the submission or during acceptance after the deliberations. And after the deliberations also, if the plagiarism has not been checked, if the conference organizers are submitting the papers which have not gone through the cross-check, then IEEE itself will do that, and they might reject some of the papers with plagiarism, and it will be a headache for the conference organizers because they will not know what happened for some of the papers, and the authors will come to them, and then they will have to follow up and find out. So better go through the plagiarism checking first itself. Now, what will be the consequences of this cross-check? Suppose if an author has been found to have plagiarized the paper, then depending on the severity of the problem issue and the unethical practices, severe actions are taken against the authors violating this code of conduct. Because every technical association, every conference publication sources like IEEE, ACM, which are all world renowned, they take a very, very severe look against this unethical behavior of the author. So they publish a list of the authors prohibited. They call it the blacklist, and it is sent to the conference organizers. And the conference organizers are responsible to check whether the submitted papers have any of those authors in them. Now let us go for the evaluation. Now evaluating a paper can be in two different areas. One for the structure of the paper, the organization of the paper and the presentation. And the second one is the original work. So we need to form a criteria which will cover all these things, and the reviewers should be assigned for this. It is very important to have the expertise of the reviewer in the correct area, and a conflict of interest agreement would be better. And a double-blind review is always considered to be a better process and a best practice, and the standard of review should be maintained throughout the process. Usually, these are all the criteria, genuine research contributions, credibility, clear recording, and availability of the sufficient information. All these things are to be checked if the paper has to have some material. And if the paper has a controversial result, I would say it will be very good for the reviewer to accept it, because I believe that from there only the research will start. So now, after doing the clear checking, the information to the authors should be given with the reviewer's comments, with the suggestions for modifications or any other corrections, or even the rejection, whatever it is. But here, no identity of the reviewers should be revealed. And usually the portals help in automated paper submission and review platforms. So this will be without hassle. And finally, the deliberations, the selected papers will be called for the presentations, and a second review can be done during the celebrations to find out whether the reviewers' comments have been incorporated, and recognitions like best paper awards can be introduced here to encourage the authors to come for the presentation, because sometimes it becomes a real headache. The authors don't turn up. So finally, what are all the best practices I have explained? So clearly explain the objective of the conference and theme of the conference to the authors and reviewers, so that the authors will submit the papers in that theme, because we are also checking that whether the relevance of the paper to the conference is maintained. And use automated platforms for paper submission, review, and communication, which will eliminate bias and which will not review the identity of the reviewers or the authors. And double-blind review is considered to be the best method to avoid conflicts, bias, and other unnecessary ethical issues. Thank you for your attention. If there are any questions, I am ready to answer. I hope I did not overrun.
Good evening, madam. Nice presentation. I got one question that being an author, which practices I should follow so that my paper will not come in plagiarism?
Okay, the first thing you should do is, if you are going to present a original work, then you will be finding out what literature has been available in that particular work. But if it is a new work, the amount of research that is available might be very less. But whatever it is, the first thing you should consider is You do not reproduce the words as it is. It should be in your own words, but at the same time, if you just go through the papers and find out what connection it has to your work, your research work, then you can avoid plagiarism completely. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Madam, usually IEEE conferences allow a certain percentage of similarity, not just plagiarism, similarity. So what is the allowed kind of, because it the plagiarism check tool will flag that most of the references given in the paper is from other sources, right? So there must be some maybe.
Yes, usually 10 to 13% is allowed, but I usually ensure 8%. I ask my technical committee to maintain less than 8% of plagiarism so that we will not overrun.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So getting it between 8 to 10 is always good.
Now, if it is original writing, it will be somewhere around maybe 5 to.
Yes, yes,
5%.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And it is also possible for us to communicate to the authors saying that if it is only a reproduction of words in some of the areas where the literature survey is there, we can ask them to reduce the plagiarism. Unless otherwise, if they have copied the work of someone itself, then the paper has no scope.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I think we have arranged a panel discussion the next day. I think most of the maybe attendees are reserving their questions for that part. So excellent presentation, madam, and keeping the time very correct. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. I enjoyed. Thank you.
I know you can conclude, please.
Yes, yes. Thank you, ma'am, for receiving our invitation and delivering a wonderful presentation and enlightened us with your words of wisdom and experience and regarding this plagiarism and evaluation check and all. I'm sure that it was very fruitful, especially to the academicians and researchers who are attending the session. Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of the organizing committee, IEEE Kochi subsection, as a token of gratitude, we would like to share a memento virtually with you.
Thank you very much.
I will share. Thank you very much, ma'am.
It's a beautiful memento. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. So see you, madam. Happy to associate in future as well.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. There is a short, and for the participants, there is a short break now. We will start our next session exactly at 7:15. So stay tuned with POCO. Thank you. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Welcome back all the participants to the today's second session. This session we deals with a very interesting topic, IEEE Explore Open Access and IEEE Author Center. For guiding us with this session, we have an eminent personality with us, Dr. Dhanukumar, holding the post of University Partnership Program Manager at IEEE. He holds various positions like Assistant Librarian at Peace Institute of Technology, Bangalore, Deputy Customer Relationship Manager at Healthcare and Science India, then Editorial Board Member and Chair of SLA, IEEE Client Service University Partnership Program Manager, and Senior IEEE Client Service and University Partnership Program Manager. With great privilege, we welcome Dr. Dhanukumar for this session. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nujaj. Thank you, Professor Santosh Kumar, for inviting me to the forum. I hope Sonu has already set higher expectations. I hope I will meet all of your expectations, Sonu ma'am. So let me begin. Let me share my screen. So this session, I would like to keep it interactive in case of any questions. Feel free to send your question via the chat window. I'll keep the chat window open just in case. So this session will be like around 25 minutes, and maybe including Q&A, it may go up more than 30 minutes. So in this session, I'll primarily speak about IEEE Explore, because at the end of the day, once all the publications are like accepted, the articles are accepted in either a journal or a conference, they'll go and sit in the IEEE Explore digital library. Sometimes you may have a question like yesterday I was speaking to a big group in a corporate. They're always, the first question is why IEEE is taking so much time. Sometimes takes much time, like more than 2 months. We got a better answer from our earlier speakers. So IEEE Explore, we keep on addressing so many questions. We keep on addressing questions on plagiarism, author tools, etc. So my topic will be basically on what is new at the IEEE Explore digital library, some of the new content which we have recently come recently launched within the IEEE Explore platform, and also some of the recent enhancements and what we have in terms of the future plans altogether. Also, I'll be speaking about open access, maybe a topic of interest for all of you. Maybe you may have little knowledge or a better knowledge in this topic, but definitely I will try and give you more perspective on the IEEE's evolving open access program. IEEE Author Center, very well suited for this kind of programs, wherein I will be providing you with all those support tools which will be helping you in probably getting your paper published faster, answering if you are a new author. IEEE will probably, this tool will help you with all the these things. So here is the story. The IEEE and our partner publications are hosted on the IEEE Explore digital library. This is the only platform wherein you get access to all the full text from the IEEE. At this point in time, IEEE is having 200 journals, 200 plus journals, 1,700 annual conferences, several thousand standards, and also ebooks and e-learning collection. This is the latest story. More than 5.3 million documents in the IEEE Explore digital library. If your institution is subscribing to IEEE, you should be able to find the institution name in the RAM. For example, QSAT has access to the IEEE full text publication. So they will see all the faculty, students will see access provided by QSAT here. If you're from Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology, I could see one of the attendees from, you should be able to see your institution name. If you're from ISRO laboratory, if you're from CET, etc., you should be able to see this. If you're unable to see that, please reach out to your librarian, okay, or else I'll drop my email ID. You can even reach out to me as well. IEEE, since the pandemic, IEEE has taken a lot of steps in ensuring that all the end user, I would say the last mile user in the institution, gets access to the IEEE. We have empowered the institutions and also the librarians to ensure that they provide access to the subscribed content from the institution. For any reason, if you're unable to access IEEE Explore digital library, if you're unable to download full text, reach out to your librarian, or else feel free to reach out to me. I will drop my, I have my email ID in my last slide. One recent thing which we have added is most popular. So people are always looking at, okay, what is trending in the Internet of Things? What is trending in cloud computing? Which are the set of articles which have been heavily used in the area of Internet of Things, or say artificial intelligence, machine learning, etc. When you search for anything, on the right hand side, you will see sort by option. We have included a new option called most popular. This will pull all those documents which have been heavily downloaded in the last month. So this is new here. Also, with respect to the what do you call open science initiatives, IEEE now encouraging asking all the authors to submit their codes, or say the data sets, or any video or any media element. So you'll also be able to find out in the left hand side of the result set. This is again a quick story. We have ebook collection from emerging topics: engineering, computer science, telecommunication, and more. We also have the e-learning, a strong e-learning library having more than 500 e-learning courses. Every year, Clarivate Analytics, erstwhile Thomson Reuters, they do an analysis in terms of which are the top journals in a subject area, and IEEE's name is always there because of the citations what the articles in that particular journal receive. If you take electrical, electronic engineering, telecommunication, computer science, IEEE's journals are always there on the top. Also, IEEE's publications are cited more than 3 times any other publisher. So there are some of the studies done by the third party which look at from a technical perspective. IEEE is like one of the biggest technical resource. Some of the faculty do say that IEEE is the Bible when they actually start their research. Also, when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution, many of you may have heard about this terminology. Now we are sitting in this era, and there are a lot of technologies which will fuel the fourth industrial revolution. And also, when you look at cybersecurity alone, there are more than 35,000 documents which are published with IEEE. There are more than 200,000 documents which are published with IEEE. So if you are working on any technology, I would say IEEE probably would be the primary resource you can actually consult. Also, new content, IEEE is planning is launching 3 new journals. One of them is already there. The first issue, the 2 more journals will be published. Last year, we almost launched like 20 journals, and 2019 we launched 4 new journals. And also in terms of standards, we're coming out with some new standards as well. So now we have, maybe I would request the organizers, maybe we can have a session on why standards matter to the technology professionals. So in my office, the IEEE Indo Operations Center, we have a senior colleague, Shrikant Chandrasekharan, who actually handles all the standards related activities in India. He actually talks on these topics. Maybe Kochi subsection can organize a similar one. I'll be happy to coordinate that. Also, IEEE recently added Princeton University Press ebooks into the IEEE Explorer digital library. You take Wiley Press ebooks, we take we also have the collection from Wiley Telecommunication, MIT Press. These actually speak on range of engineering technology, and also many of the areas like computer programming, information technology, or say telecommunication, etc. So if you are interested in this, we can reach out to us, and or else maybe the library as well. Also, IEEE e-learning library offers high quality peer-reviewed online courses in many relevant topics. Recently, we launched a series of courses. These range from 1 to 3 hours. Also, we have a course called English for Technical Professionals, which is like a 14-hour course. So if at all anybody is interested, that will actually, this course will help fine tune the English, technical English of a professional. These are the new updates in the IEEE Explorer. My research projects, I will take probably 2 minutes to explain it in my next slides, but we recently added Princeton University Press. We are now adding video presentations to the IEEE, the articles. Some of our conferences have started providing us the video presentations. We also have some of the, when you log in from your institution, you will also see featured authors, follow this author, etc. There are a lot of things which have changed. We all now have a feedback tool as well within the IEEE Explorer download. And if your institution has access to the Ebooks collection. Now you can even go for multiple chapter download for some of our ebooks collection. Let's speak about this probably in some time. Okay, here is personal account. Whenever I speak with the PhDs or say MTech or even faculty members, one of the biggest challenges they face is I ask them, like, how do you track any new article published in the area in IEEE? The standard answer is, okay, I go to IEEE Explore digital library. I look at what is published in data science or say cloud computing or computer vision, etc. But you may not be aware that IEEE can take up this job. Give this job to IEEE, we will do it. Sorry, the staff member, we have set up some functionalities wherein if you're working on say Internet of Things, when you search for Internet of Things, at this point there are more than 62,000 articles. On the right hand side, you have an option called create account. So create account is like you can create your own personal account. If you're not an IEEE member, you can create a personal account. If you're an IEEE member, you can just click on personal sign in and use your my IEEE ID and password to sign in. So once you sign in, you will see Internet of Things. There are 62,000. On the right hand side, you will see set search alert. Just click on this, provide a search alert name, and then hit save here. That's it. Next time, when there is a new article published in the area of Internet of Things, you will receive an email alert. So while you're waiting for, you can just go and start setting alerts. You can set up to like 40 search alerts within the IEEE Explorer. So please utilize this option from the IEEE Explorer. Also, this is a recent enhancement. We at IEEE have a dedicated technical team who interviews the users, librarians, and seek feedback on which new features will help the users or the librarians when they visit the IEEE Explorer. So many of the users started telling, if there is an option wherein we can manage our library within the IEEE Explorer platform, that would be great help. So we actually dig down and we could hear from them that some of people work on like 4 or 5 different projects, and they come across some nice articles which they would like to park them in those projects. Now we have my research projects in the IEEE Explorer digital library. For that, you need to have signed in either with your my IEEE ID and password if you're an IEEE member, or your personal account if you're a non-member. Once you log in, whenever you come across, say, for example, these 2 articles you would like to push to a particular research project, check the boxes, select the articles on the page and click on export my research project. Once you do that, you will see my research projects and they can actually add those articles to several research projects. So I'm now on the article abstract page. Also, you'll be able to find a folder, open folder option. Click on it, my research projects, and you can park this. Say, currently you're actually busy with a project. Currently you're busy with an examination. You don't have time. And maybe there are some holidays around and you would like to come back later. And you suddenly find an article which you would like to park it for your future reference. So my research projects will come to your help. So here is the place, and if you'd like to access all the my research projects, hit on my settings, and then you can look at all of your project. You can manage them. You can create a new project as well. Further to this, there are a lot of enhancements which are coming to IEEE Explore digital library. We are also looking at if QSAT as a whole, if you can come out with the institutional profile, saying how many articles published by QSAT faculty and students, which are the latest articles, which are the articles which have been heavily cited in the IEEE Explore digital library. So we'll be having these kind of profiles, dashboards. We also my Explore app. I would request all of you maybe take a look at it and see the utility. It also helps you. It also notifies you, like how IEEE Explore notifies you via an email when. If at all there is a new article in your area of interest, my Explore app will notify you. We are also looking at semantic search capability. Now it's like wholly a keyword-based search engine. So these things we'll be doing quickly. Okay, IEEE is open access. So I'm confident that here everybody is aware of the term open science and the movement it actually represents. For those that are unaware, the open science movement enables wider access to the research, and authors are able to disseminate their findings freely to the technical community and spark innovations more than ever before. So open science is that movement which is making scientific research and its dissemination accessible to. It was long back in 2008 that has been IEEE providing engineers and scientists with open access platforms. So we started what you call since then we launched a hybrid model wherein faculty can ask an article to keep it open. We launched IEEE Photonics, that is a journal already there. We converted that into a fully open access journal. In 2013, we launched a fully open access, that is mega open access journal called IEEE Access. So this accepts articles in all the area served by IEEE. So you can see the changes there. IEEE now has more than 25 open access journals. A lot of solutions at this highest level. IEEE Open Science comprises of 4 blocks, and all these are unique themselves but integrated. So you take CodeOcean, Tech Archive, IEEE Dataport, and Open Access. CodeOcean, authors now are able to leverage CodeOcean as a platform that allows to share the code and data published in their papers. This encourages collaborative opportunities that also help enhancing the publication process. If you search IEEE Explore digital library at this point in time, we have more than 300 articles which contain codes, which you can download whenever you would like to with help of the CodeOcean. We also have Tech Archive. People, if would like to look at the first version of the article when it was actually sent, that is prior to peer review, you can actually visit Tech Archive website here. So this is one way to disseminate the initial scientific findings. We also have Dataport. So Dataport will provide you access to the large data sets. There are more than 400 articles which contain huge data sets, and they are available via the Dataport. Again, open access IEEE strives to support the work and needs of all the authors globally. Those who prefer to publish in traditional subscription journals are also maybe published via the open access. We also have 100 associate editors from India. IEEE Access adopts a rapid peer review process and publication, and it has actually got a lot of accolades. At this point, we have 26 open access journals and fully compliant with various mandates from many countries as well. So this is a quick, we provide multiple open access options if you want to focus on larger potential audience, which is topic focused, and we can actually look at topical journals. If you'd like to look at the highest impact factor, probably you can choose our hybrid journals. But if you'd like to look at if you're confused which open access journal I should be submitting my journal to, IEEE Access is an option to you. So you can look at this as well. But here is the story. IEEE published open access journal articles at this point in time are available to you, all of you, in front of your screen. We have so many documents published in the IEEE Explorer digital library. Year on year, they have been increasing. Also, especially from India, you can also see that from India from 2016 to 20, you can actually look at the open access on the paywall journals, and also the IEEE India articles from 2016 and the growth of the open access journals here. People are slowly looking at keeping their article open to the general public. What actually this publishing, open access publishing, will make the peer article available for free online, and is actually kind of a hot topic among the researchers as well. So here is the advantages of the open access. You can maximize exposure of your research, increase visibility. You can demonstrate your support for open access and also your authors. And again, the advantage of being published by IEEE itself. So you heard many eminent speakers come in, and also who are actually next in line, who actually speak why publication with IEEE, why conference organization with IEEE, what is that strong support which actually provides. Again, obviously there'll be significant savings opportunity as well. With that, let me switch to the IEEE Author Center, which will be, I believe, exciting to all of you today. So IEEE Author Center is one-stop shop for all of your questions related to the IEEE publishing. If you're a newbie, would like to know, okay, I'm like a new person in this industry and I would like to know more on how to publish with IEEE. What are the support IEEE gives you? So here there's an option called new author. So I would like to urge all of you to save this URL, IEEEauthorcenter.IEEE.org. Here's a space, the IEEE Author Center page, and you can click on writing, peer review, or publication. And you can also look at various video tutorials. At this point, we provide, we're offering 16 free video tutorials to help you understand the publishing better, the IEEE publishing better. There are also author tools. I will go one by one. There are like 5 author tools which will help you. So one of the common questions which we receive while in terms of authoring is, okay, I have an article to submit. Which is the best journal for me to submit the article? Okay. In that space, there is a tool called Publication Recommend, which will be of great help to all of you. We also have ethics. So ethics, I believe, we have heard from our earlier speakers, and also probably will be hearing more from our speakers next in line. Ethics is the heart of the IEEE publishing. In fact, the whole publishing industry. Even Ramalatha ma'am was actually emphasizing why ethics is so important to all of us. Okay, so we have a separate section on the ethics itself, which you can actually look at. So here are the list of video tutorials. If you want to know, okay, how to write a better title and an abstract, there is a short video tutorial for you. If you'd like to cite sources, there is a short video to you called Citing Sources Appropriately. And if you'd like to know what reviewing an article, more information about it, there is a video tutorial as well. So please do leverage on these tools, and 100% belief is that will become probably a better author, and these will help you as well. So here's the template selector. One of the questions which we receive is, okay, I would like to choose a journal or a conference. I would like to know which is the best template I should be getting my article. Okay, so here's the tool called IEEE Template Selector. This is available in the IEEE Author Center under the Author Tools, and you can select the publication type, article type, and also select the format, and then you can download the template of the particular selector. Then publication recommender. I did speak about this. Publication recommender is like you can search any keywords. Say, for example, today you're working on image processing, and you want to know which is the best journal for me to submit my article, manuscript. Please visit this site, IEEE Publication Recommender, a free tool from IEEE. Type in your keyword, say video processing, and then the system will tell you that which are the journals you should be looking at. Maybe it will come out with several journals in the descending order of the preference. You can look at each and every journal one by one. Once you have it, you can click on the journals here. You say signal processing, then it'll actually give you the aims and scope of other data as well. You can also speed up the publication by using the Latex Analyzer. So you can speed up the whole article submission process by validating your LaTeX files with the help of the IEEE Latex Analyzer. You can also verify your reference list with the help of the IEEE Preparation Assistant. Now you can also make the IEEE Explorer compatible PDFs with the IEEE PDF Checker. And what are you waiting for? So there are several tools to all of you which will be of maximum benefit. So please do go ahead and start utilizing these tools. To be more relevant for this workshop, here is the support IEEE provides you. Would like to become a conference author. Okay, finding the right conference, the type of papers, how to present your paper, and getting an ORCID, that is Open Researcher Contributor ID. Here's a place to help you to get credit for your work and identify which are your articles. So this will actually get away with a lot of disambiguation as well. Again, author ethics, there are a lot of information from the IEEE. So this is a dedicated site which actually provide you a lot of author ethics related guidelines. Also, if you'd like to, they're like manuscript templates for the conference proceedings. Like there is A4, there is a latex template instructions. There's also the template in the overleaf as well. And if you'd like to look at the upcoming conferences, why not? At this point in time, in India and also our neighboring countries, we have like in India, there are 80 conferences which are being organized in the coming months. In Sri Lanka, there are 2, and also in Bangladesh, there is 1. So if you look at cloud computing itself, there are like 16 conferences which are happening. I was looking at which is the farthest conference, that is in 2025, that is International Conference on Acoustics, Speech and Signal Processing. And if you see on the right hand side, here's some of the conferences which are organized by Cochin University of Science, that is, and also Rajagiri School of Engineering Technology in Kochi. So they are the conferences, but unfortunately, if you ever wanted to submit your manuscript, I think this may not happen, because this we already done with the acceptance submission acceptance of the papers. And now also please, you can also bookmark this site, the author lab in the IEEE Collaboratech, for the additional support. So if you're an IEEE member, you already have access to this site. You don't have to create a personal account per se. So this site will provide you like support. Like we have several communities in the IEEE Collaboratech. You can join there is a Kochi community, by the way. There is IEEE Author Lab community. You can join these communities and start interacting, and you can ask questions to the other participants. And also these questions will also reach the IEEE publication staff. So there are more than, at this point, there are more than 15,000 participants in the IEEE Author Lab. So please do go ahead and take advantage of this one. So coming to the last slide, authors at IEEE. If you want to receive this newsletter, this is a bi-monthly newsletter, authors at IEEE.org. You can sign up. You want to sign up for this, just drop an email to authors at IEEE.org and we'll sign you up. So you will start receiving a bi-monthly newsletter. This actually provides valuable information on the publishing, and also a lot of tips which will actually help us. So please do write us on this. So almost close to the clock, and thank you so much for your time. And if you want more information about IEEE Open access programs, we have open.IEEE.org. And in IEEE, my main role is to interact with the institutions. These are like unique presentations because of the request from Professor Santosh. I'm doing this, but more importantly, my role is to highlight the value of the IEEE Explore digital library in terms of what kind of value it creates to the institution, faculty, and students. So I can take up like a 45-minute session on how IEEE can be valuable, Explore can be valuable to your institution. So I can highlight a lot of new features and also give you a kind of know-how on the IEEE Explore as a student branch as well. You can organize. These are all free sessions from the IEEE. I am the person who conducts these kind of sessions, like a 45-minute session. And if you'd like to include a contest, I'll be happy to. And I'll be happy to award the winners as well on the content. Last time we did this, I believe Professor Santosh knows about this. Okay, so if you want a session on the IEEE Explore Digital Library, just put your email ID in the chat and I will respond to you later. And in case of any queries related to the authoring, you can just shoot an email to authors@IEEE.org. So with that, I would move to the questions. Miss Anu, can I go through the questions one by one?
Yes, yes, yes,
Sure.
yes, sir. This is the question time. With Dr. Dhanukumar, sir.
Thank you. You can just drop your question on the chat.
Yeah, Dr. Dhanu, it was
Yeah.
an excellent presentation, and
Thank you.
I was actually expecting a poll.
Oh yes, last time we did this, right? Because
which
thing
will
is
be
that
benefiting all the participants. Say they can acquire some IEEE mercantile.
oh yes, next time we'll do it, because the only thing is I could sorry, it was my mistake. I should have spoken to you on this, because again when I saw the time it was like 30 minutes. I thought okay, 30 minutes is like straight. So I thought maybe next time, Professor, definitely we'll do this. A kind of a quick interactive contest which everybody will like.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Some of you have like, if you want me to organize an IEEE Explore session in your institution, just type your email ID and I will get back to later. Otherwise, any questions, I'm open to take them now.
Yeah. Then there is a misconception of many of the authors regarding the open access journals, right?
Okay.
So some of them are thinking that suppose we send an article to maybe a journal, XYZ journal.
Yeah.
They will immediately tell, okay, your congratulations, your article is being accepted, and we will publish it. So they think that it is basically open access. That means we are just sending to maybe XYZ kind of website, and they are accepting and then publishing it. Could you just maybe enlighten on what is basically the right kind of an open access journal, and what is the cost kind of associated with publishing in those type of journals?
Sure, Professor. That's a very good question, actually. So let me go back to the slide. Yeah, here is the one. Here actually we offer three types of journals. That is the traditional journals, which would be like mostly our old traditional journals, which are more than 100 hybrid journals. But if you, at the end of the day, it's as simple as this. When you're submitting a paper, if you'd like to keep the article open to the public, at this point, you know, if anybody wants to access an article, their library should have access to this, or it should be an open access article. So with open access, a lot of advantages, visibility, especially your article is probably would be widely read because that's freely available. And again, visibility to the institution and also the authors themselves. If at all, if you'd like to keep your article open, okay, while submission, there is an option to choose it. So if you choose that option, that would be very helpful. So now we have certain tools at the site called open.ieee.org, which actually will help you in that. So I'm just putting it in the chat, open.ieee.org. This is a site which will provide more information about how to convert an article, when like how to submit an article as an open access as well. Regarding the second question, that is okay, if I have to add some more elements to the first question, like IEEE never compromises on the peer review process, whether it is traditional or even a open access journal. Okay, the maybe we may adapt rapid review process for the articles sent to the IEEE access and some of our open access journals, but we never compromise on the quality, that is the peer review process as a whole. If you look at the charges, yes, the charges at this point around I think it's around less than $2,000, but more information on the open site. But at this point, for many countries, including India, IEEE is offering a 50% discount for certain period. Okay, so during the what you call submission process, you will see all that information. So if you'd like to keep it open, you can even avail the 50% discount when you submit an article as an open access.
Yeah.
But more information on the open site, open.ieee.org.
Thank you, Dhanu.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. In fact, I have given my service as an associate editor for IEEE Access.
Access, right? Yeah, Professor. Yeah, I saw your name there. There are more than 100 names. I think one of your name is also there. I saw that. Yeah, I was building the slide deck. I saw your name.
Yeah, I think Anu, could you close?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. This session was really valuable and eye-opening session for all the researchers. I think I felt like it's the session like a journey along with a true librarian, exploring the source that the top research organizations in the world rely on. As the name says, IEEE Explorer. Thank you very much, sir. On behalf of all the participants and the IEEE Kochi subsection, as a token of our gratitude and appreciation, a virtual memento will be presented to you, sir. Thank you. I will share the screen. Okay, thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time with this POCO. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Ms. Anu. Thank you so much, Professor Santosh Kumar. Nice to hear, as always, and I'll be happy to work with you closer even in the future workshop.
Thank you, Dhanu. Looking forward to associate with you again.
Sure, Professor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. For the participants, hope you are getting motivated with all the sessions. Now there will be a short break and we will be resuming by 8 o'clock. Isn't it, Sundar, sir?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. And then, yes, none other than Dr. Biju K. Treasurer, IEEE Kerala section. Dr. Biju is currently working as the head of the Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering in College of Engineering, Munnar, Kerala, India. He has got more than 18 years of teaching experience in various engineering colleges across Kerala. He is a member of Board of Studies of APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University. He has delivered various technical talks in different engineering colleges, and he is also he is currently the treasurer of IEEE Kerala session and a member of the conference activity board of IEEE Kerala session. He has served as technical program committee member in many IEEE international conferences. He has chaired technical sessions in various international conferences. He has been a regular reviewer of many peer-reviewed journals. He has won awards in IEEE also. He has published a number of papers in various international journals and conferences. So with a great privilege, we welcome you, sir, for the last session of the second day of POCO. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Anu George, for that welcome and generous introduction. So first of all, let me sincerely thank Santosh sir, Rajesh sir, and other organizers of this conference for inviting me to this session. Professor Anu, is my screen visible now? The presentation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, let us start. As Professor Anu told, this is basically a financing session, part of the conference, which is very interesting as well as very important for a conference. As all of us know, you might have I know this 3-day POCO started yesterday. You might have attended various sessions on technical program, conference quality, plagiarism, etc. And as all of us know, being for a particular conference, as general chair is a most important position, and the general chair has to take the overall responsibility of the conference. He or she has to look into all the aspects of the conference. Other than this general chair, then the most important positions comes on the most important responsibility on the technical program committee chair, because it is a hectic job for a conference. Because the TPC chair is supposed to conduct the technical program review of all the papers. Then, of course, the next important role is for a publication chair for a conference. And mainly the duties of a publication chair comes after the conference, because we know there are several processes for publication for an IEEE conference. We have to basically do some post-conference activities for the timely publication of the proceedings in IEEE Explorer. Then, of course, the fourth important position, I should say, is a finance chair. So finance chair has a lot of responsibilities for a conference, and we all of us know we cannot culminate a conference in a loss. Of course, a conference is not a profit-making process, but we need some surplus, because so if we want to continue with that particular series of a conference for the next edition of that conference, we need some seed money for starting, because the conference will get income only once when the registration starts. So before that itself, we may need some amount of money for the beginning of the conference. So ideally, the previous, if you have a surplus amount from the previous version of the conference, you can ideally use that money for the series of conferences. Not only that, basically this IEEE also, we know IEEE section or India Council or IEEE MGA or any entity of IEEE needs money to run the organization, paying salary to staff, paying rent to buildings, etc. And one of the main income for IEEE is basically the surplus which is generated out of the conference. Of course, there are some other income like publication, journal publication, etc. But one of the main sources of income for IEEE is the conference. So ideally, we are supposed to generate a decent surplus. So there is no hard and fast rules on how much should be the surplus from a conference. So ideally, it can be in the range of say 20%, 25%, or 30%. You should not go for a too high surplus, because that gives some other wrong notions. Because we are not supposed to generate too much surplus. If you are generating too much surplus, then immediate question comes is that, so you could have reduced the registration fee like that. Okay. So we should judiciously select that registration fee and plan our all the budget. So this role of finance chair is very important for a conference. So let us start with our discussions. So the agenda of today's presentation. So we will start with what are the revenue sources for a conference. What are the various expenditure comes along with a conference. Then I will present a sample budget. The budget which I have prepared while I was finance chair of IEEE FESCRI 2020, that I will present. Then we will discuss what are the roles of a finance chair for a IEEE conference. Then after the conference and before the conference also, we have to submit a financial report, pre-report as post-report. So I will discuss that. And of course, after the conference, there are some other some important procedures like auditing, and we have to submit some closure forms to IEEE, both offline forms as well as online forms. So this will be the agenda of today's discussion. So, so we know we need a decent revenue for running a conference. So what are the different sources of revenue for a conference? So the most important revenue for, of course, for a conference is the author registration fee. Of course, we will have different components in the registration fee, and that etc. We will discuss. Okay. Then the registration fee itself can be of two types. So those who are already familiar with the conduct of a conference might be knowing that there is an early bird registration as well as a normal fee registration. So if the authors register before a particular date, so as to promote registrations, fast registrations, we can give a discount in the normal registration. That is what early bird registration. Normally, the organizers gives almost 10% reduction in the registration fee. Again, there is no rule, so you can judiciously select the early bird registration fee. And after a particular date, you will have to go for that normal registration. Then, other than the main registration or the registration fee, So for a conference, you might have some tutorials. Okay. So if you have good tutorials with a good interesting topic and very well-known expert speakers, then of course people will be interested in that tutorial and people will be register. So you will get some income from the tutorial uh, from the tutorial. Okay. Then of course there will be some exhibitions. So if you I am basically talking with respect to a physical conference. Of course nowadays there are so many online conferences. So many of these things like exhibits of course there are some still, so some for major conferences, some online booths etc are there, but for small conference or a mediocre kind of conference the online booths may not be there. Okay. So I'm basically talking with respect to a physical conference. Okay. So we will be arranging some exhibition stalls. Of course you can collect some amount from the companies or exhibitors. Then sponsors. So that is according to your contacts. If you are able to attract so many sponsors for the conference, the sponsor can be an exhibitor also. Okay. So you can generate some amount from the sponsorship. Then of course you can plan some social events and encourage the participants to attend that social events also. So you can generate some income. So so in that other registration fee category, so basically for some conference there may be a registration share, but for an IEEE, from the perspective of IEEE, that is not a mandatory position for a conference. But of course you can assign one person in charge of the registration. So the registration chair can basically take care of that fixing the registration fee, etc. So you have to give a discount of IEEE tells nearly 20% discount for IEEE member. Okay. So if you are fixing a say registration fee of 10,000 rupees, so ideally for an IEEE member, you can probably set a registration fee of something around 8,000. Okay. And if it is a society conference, like some societies are financially co-sponsored, at least technically co-sponsored, then of course the societies highly recommend the others, the society members to give some discount also. So you can give again a 10% discount to society members. So you can probably set the society registration fee something around 7,000, something like that. And for students, of course, we know students they don't have professionals, of course, they have income, so they can pay the registration fee. But students they can't afford a registration fee which is equivalent to a professional member. Okay. So of course you have to give almost 50%, almost half the registration fee for a student. But for some conferences, some premier conferences, if a student register under student category, okay, so that is very important. So you can check some important conferences. So the student register, they will write in their conference website or the other instructions that the student registration doesn't guarantee the publication. Because if you want to publish your paper, you have to register under full category, full registration category. Okay. But by paying a student registration fee, you can you can present the paper, attend all the keynote sessions, other sessions also. Okay. That point you have to take care of. Then other registration fee can be, so as I already told, if there is a tutorial, you can charge something for the tutorial. Then for other kind of some other professional, say some student activity along with the conference, or some young professional activity along with the conference. So you can charge something like that. So you should ideally, the finance chair should explore all the basic, all the possible sources of revenue for a conference, so that he or she can ensure that the conference does not go to a deficit kind of state. Okay, so we have discussed what are the revenue sources. So what are the expenses coming with the conferences? So there are a lot of expenditure for a conference, starting with a conference website. So we know for all the conferences, we need to operate a conference website. And we know we need to pay for that domain charges. And if you have not, if you don't have any volunteers to freely do the conference website, then of course you will have to entrust that conference website to some professional agencies. Okay, so you have to pay for that also. So you have to while computing the expenses, you have to take care of the conference website expenditure also. Then of course registration expenses, because ideally for a big conferences you cannot accept the registration fee through some bank account. That is not the general bank account, means simply using internet banking. So that is not ideally recommended. Okay. So ideally you should go for, because especially with some foreign US dollar payment, etc., this internet banking kind of thing is may make some issues. Okay. So ideally it should be using some payment gateway. There are so many payment gateway agencies like Explorer, ebooks, Townscript. So many agencies are there who provides that services with a with a with a very meager their charges like 3% or 4% of the amount, something like that. So there are some registration expenses. Then of course promotional expenses. So for an online conference, there may not be much promotional expenses, but for a physical conferences, of course, you will have to print some flyers and distribute that to flyers. So the travel, so the printing cost, etc. There will be some promotional expenditure associated with that. Then other major expenditure for an IEEE technical co-sponsored conference is publications. So now the current IEEE publication expenditure is you have to pay fixed cost of $1,450 which is a fixed cost. Okay. Then for every paper you have to pay $22 per paper. Okay. So this is the publication. Say if you have 100 papers, okay, then 22 into 100, $2,200 plus that $1,450. This is the publication. This is for a IEEE technically co-sponsored conference. But if it is a financially co-sponsored conference, you need not to pay this publication fee. It is free for you. Okay. So that is one advantage with the IEEE financially co-sponsored conference. But of course, there are some other stringent criteria associated with this financially co-sponsored conference. Okay, that is another kind of discussion. Okay, so I am not going to the details of that. Okay. Then of course exhibit expenditure, because you have to arrange the booth, so you'll have to take the help of some vendors for arranging the booth, etc. So there are some expenditure associated with the exhibitors. So then keynote and tutorial expenditure. Of course, you will have to. It is not mandatory, but better at least for tutorial speakers you need to pay, because the tutorial session will be ideally for a conference. It may be lasting for 2 hours or 3 hours with some kind of hands-on things also. So it is a really big effort is needed in taking a tutorial session. So you are supposed to pay some decent honorarium to the tutorial speakers. And of course, these keynote speakers, it is optional. So it is not at all mandatory to pay them. That is up to the conference organizers to decide whether to pay for keynote speakers or not. IEEE anyway doesn't tell anything about that. It is completely up to the freedom of the conference organizers. Okay. Basically, it is assumed as a voluntary kind of thing. But anyway, it is up to the conference organizers. Then venue expenditure. Of course, if you are doing this conference in an institution, there may not be any venue expenditure. Maybe small expenditure associated with the decoration of the venue or something like that only. But if you are running the whole because most of the major conferences are running 5-star hotels or 7-star hotels like that, then there is a big cost associated with the venue. Venue, in fact, venue is one of the major expenses in a big IEEE conference. Then, of course, the transportation expenditure, that also comes a decent amount of money is needed in that transportation, because you will have to bring people from nearest airport, all the keynote speakers. That is very essential. You have to take care of the local hospitality. And for some keynote speakers, you may be in a position to pay their complete expenditure, complete travel expenditure. Say if a person coming from US, you will have to, in some cases, that depends on that selection of that keynote speaker. Okay, that is again that depends on the conference organizers, how you deal with the keynote speakers, how you properly identify or judiciously identify the keynote the speakers, so that you can reduce that is. I can tell an example. Say if a conference is running in Kerala, say December. So you come to know that another conference, some kind of similar area, one conference is happening in Mumbai. Okay, in the same nearest to that date. Okay. So anyway, so if you can get that keynote, that keynote speaker who is coming for that Bombay conferences, if you can avail his availability for your conference also, of course, then you may need to pay only his travel expenditure from Mumbai to Kochi, like that. So these are the important things in the planning or the selection of one criteria. Okay, in the aspect of reducing their transportation expenditure. Okay. Then of course the local arrangement. You will have to take some taxi for some local running from hotel to conference venue, because all the people may not be staying in the conference hotel, because the conference hotel may be a 5-star hotel or 7-star hotel. So to stay in that hotel for 3 or 4 days may be costly. So you will be identifying some 2-star hotel or 3-star hotel nearest to that conference venue for the accommodation of most of the people. Okay, except the very important people. Okay. So you will have to arrange some taxi for that local transportation, etc. Okay, so that comes under these local arrangement expenses. Then of course even management expenses. So for a conference, it is very difficult for the organizers to do all these kinds of decoration of the venue, arranging these projectors, these standees, etc. These are something difficult to deal with for a conference organizers. And probably you take the help of some. There are so many conference, that kind of support, so many people are there. It is better because it is something difficult for an organizer. So better you take the help of some event management team. So you will have to pay for them, definitely. But if you pay, they will take care of all those things, so that we can focus on this the technical program arrangements. Okay. Then of course I should say the most costly item or most expensive item for a conference is a food. So definitely you will have to give a banquet dinner one day, a grand dinner, then all the conference days, lunch, tea, working lunch, etc. So food expenditure comes to be a very big amount. And again, you have to plan it very judiciously, that you can learn out of your experience. Okay. Then after that conference auditor, in the expenditure, while you plan or while you prepare the budget, you should include the audit expenditure also. Okay. So I will quickly go through a conference budget because we don't have much time, I know. So I will quickly go through a conference IEEE PESCRI 2020 budget, which I have prepared. Hope it is visible. This word file is visible. Professor Anu or somebody could confirm that it will be.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So this was a budget I prepared for PESCRI 2020. That you can see the first. Hope it is visible. The first major head is the transportation expenditure. So I will quickly go through that. Then book of abstract. Anyway, you have to, assuming this is a physical conference. Okay. So you have to prepare a book of abstract, a conference proceedings, where all the abstract or the full paper, the schedule, the messages, the details about keynote speakers, etc. So you have to give that, because that will be a good reference book for the attendees for that 3-day or 4-day stay during the conference. Okay. Then of course you have to give a good delegate kit, which includes ideally a bag. If you give a bag, of course the delegates will be happy. Okay. Then of course some mandatory things you have to give, like notepad, pen, pencil, badge, etc. Okay. So this is also comes to a good kind of good amount of expenditure. Then other stationery items. Then of course you have to give a good certificate for the delegates, the keynote speakers, etc. Then as I told, the lunch expenditure. So you can see the way I prepared. One day there will be a grand dinner. Okay, you need not pay dinner every day. Okay, only a 1-day gala dinner is enough. Other day you can give working lunch. That is enough. Okay. Then next important thing is hall rent. For most of the conferences, they combine this hall rent and this food. That is some kind of package. Okay, but they will charge some amount for the because that is they have their own criteria for charging for which halls they should give free, which halls they should charge. Okay, that you have to anyway bargain or negotiate with that hotel people. Then you have to give accommodation to keynote speakers, organizing committee members, etc. Then honorarium for tutorial speakers. Then their airfare and the local that expenditure. Then of course you have to. There will be 2 minutes. So there will be for all the sessions you will have to arrange 1 session chair or 2 session chairs. Okay. Then you have to give some memento to to acknowledge their service for that session chair. So some decent memento to be given for the session chairs. Okay. Then if there are some YPP young professional, this YPP means young professional program. Then I visited or I attended another conference to learn a similar kind of conference. ITech. There also we had some expenditure in registering for that conference. Then of course you will have to give some refund. Some others might have paid extra, something like that. So you have to mark something for that registration refund. Then, as I already mentioned, even the management expenditure, okay, that also you have to plan some amount, 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs, or that depends on that volume of your conference. Okay. Then video and photography. Ideally, you make at least for the inaugural function, you arrange video. For all other sessions, still photography is enough. Okay. Then there will go on along with that gala dinner. So we need to entertain our delegates also. So ideally, one day evening during gala dinner, you may arrange some cultural event also. So you have to earmark some amount for that also. Okay. Then if you could arrange some sightseeing, the people will be happy. Okay. Because the delegates may be coming from far distant places, maybe some other countries. Of course, they say if they are coming to Kerala, they will be definitely interested in enjoying the natural climate, natural beauty of Kerala. So if you are arranging a conference in Kochi, it would be ideal. It would be highly desirable to bring the attendees to Marine Drive or something, that kind of one day, at least one day sightseeing enjoyment. If you can provide that, would be very good. Okay. Then of course you will have to arrange, you will have to plan some miscellaneous expenditure also. Okay, which we are not able to foresee in the initial planning of the conference. Okay. So the income, so delegate registration fee, the income we planned around 35 lakhs. The sponsorship we target. In fact, we initially targeted a high amount, but we revised it to 3 lakhs. Then our total income was 38 lakhs. The expenditure we calculated came around 31 lakhs. So the surplus was something around 6 lakhs. So you can see the surplus is something around 15% to 20% of the income. So ideally, this is a good sample for how to prepare a budget. Ideally, you target some surplus around 20%. Okay. So let us go back to our slide. So I hope again the slide is visible. Sir, Santosh sir, now the slide is visible, right? Santosh sir,
yes.
Okay,
yes,
thank
yes,
you.
sir. Yes.
Okay. So far we have discussed regarding how to prepare the budget. Next we will so many other things also associated with the financial aspect of a conference. So we have to open a specific, that is very important. So if you are conducting a conference in an organization, okay, say example CUSAT or College of Engineering Trivandrum, you cannot avail the bank account of that institution for the conference. That is not at all permitted for an IEEE conference. For an IEEE conferences, you must operate a separate conference bank account exclusively for the conference. Okay. So you must operate open a bank account, and it must be a joint account because to ensure transparency and all, it must be a joint account at minimum with the 2 people, or ideally 3 people, 2 people or 3 people. It should be a joint account. Minimum the general chair can be an ideal signatory for that, and finance chair also can be. These 2 positions by IEEE doesn't in fact say anything specifically, but ideally the finance chair and the general chair can be signatories for that conference. For PESGIRI, I can tell PESGIRI 2020 general chair, section treasurer, because IEEE Kerala section was also involved in that conference. Section treasurer and the finance chair of that conference also was. So there were 3 joint signatories for that conference. Okay. And very important thing, after the conference, before the 6 months of the expiry of the conference, you should close the conferences and you should make the conference balance 0. So if there is any surplus, of course there will be some surplus, some 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs, which will be there at the end after settling all the expense. So you have to basically transfer that surplus to some other account. Okay. So if you are doing the conference so if it is an institute conference, you can transfer that surplus to the institute account. Okay. Or in your institute IEEE student branch account. So if it is a IEEE Kerala section conference, so you can transfer that balance amount to IEEE Kerala section main account. Okay. Anyway, you have to transfer all the accounts, all the balance amount from the conference account and see that the conference, you have to prepare that statement that that the balance amount is 0. That is an important document as a post conference. Okay. So that is very important. The conference account should be closed, and you should ensure that before closing, you should ensure that the balance in the account is 0. Okay. And another important aspect for a conference is the tax returns. Okay. So it is very mandatory that the conference organizers should comply with all the tax aspects, okay, which is prevailing in that state where the conference is running. Okay. Say if the conference is running in Kerala, so we have to take care of the Kerala tax rules. Okay. If it is in some other state, of course, now in India GST. So throughout India now GST is there. Okay. So if for some other country there may not be GST or maybe GST, we don't know. Okay. So anyway, we should collect tax which is prevailing in that particular region where the conference is running. And for we know that nowadays GST is mandatory. And very important that because I have seen for some small conferences, people are not collecting GST. That is very unfair. If the GST department comes to know that, they will charge you heavy fine for that, because for every income which is earned or which is generated here, you have to pay the tax. That is mandatory. So you have to collect GST. For the conferences, the GST amount is 18% of the income. So if the registration fee is 10,000 for a professional member, so you have to collect 10,000 plus 18% of 10,000. That means 1,800 also. Okay, mandatorily you have to collect, and you have to pay it to you have to remit that to that GST department also. And in addition to that, if there are some other taxes which is prevailing in the state, because for example, before last month there was flood cess. We all know the government withdrawn that flood cess on August 1. So before August 1, from that flood, we know from 2018 onwards, there was 1% of flood cess was there. So while you calculating the total tax, you have to add that other taxes like flood tax, any other cess is there, you have to count that also along with the registration fee. Okay. And if there are some payment, if the payment gateway agencies is charging some 3% or 4%, you have to add that also along with this total registration charge. Say example, if the total registration fee is 10,000, if GST is 18%, if flood cess is there 1%, if the payment gateway charges are 3%, then the total charges is 22% of it. So it will be 10,000 plus 2,200 like that. And of course, this 3%, it is up to the conference organizers whether to pass that 3% to the buyers or the conference. So if you feel that the registration fee is a little high, so you can decide to absorb that 3%. The conference organizers also can bear that, right? So you may not include that 3% in that registration fee. So you can pay that to the conference can pay that. Okay. Or what we did for PESCRI 2020. So we shared 50%. 50% of the payment gateway charges we transferred it to the others, and 50% the conference absorbed. Like that also you can. Anyway, that is up to the conference organizers to decide that. Then once the conference, so you know the conference application procedure, etc. I hope it is already covered how to apply for an IEEE conference. So once you have applied online, then IEEE will send. So there you have to give the details of application there, finance there, etc. Then once you have applied for a conference and IEEE professionally accepted or approved that conferences, then that IEEE MC, you know, MC, meeting, conference and events, that IEEE MC take care of these conference activities in IEEE. Then the MC will send a mail to that conference finance chair asking a conference budget, a draft budget, because initially we can send a draft budget only, right? The budget may slowly change with the progress of the conference. Okay. So anyway, you have to plan a budget and you have to submit to that IEEE MC. So that is an online submission. The conference finance chair has to mandatorily submit that they say financial report like that. Okay, so you have to submit that conference budget. So before the finance chair submitting the report, the finance chair should ensure that he or she get the approval of the conference organizing committee. So finance chair can plan a draft budget, and he or she can present that budget in the conference organizing committee. Okay, and you can get the inputs from the, because the conference organizing committee members may be very much experienced than a finance chair. Okay. And he or she can take the inputs from all these organizing committee members and fine tune the budget. Okay. So you ensure that, because otherwise after submitting the budget, you should avoid that some of the organizing committee dispute that one. So you should avoid that kind of embarrassing situation. Okay. Okay, some disturbance I got. I hope, Santosh sir, I can continue. I got some disturbance. Santosh sir?
Yeah, I think maybe 5 more minutes you can.
Okay, okay. So I will speed up. Yeah. You'll speed up. Okay. So another important form is POBC bar COI form. This POBC is IEEE Principles of Business Conduct bar conflict of interest form. So you have to give a statement that so you don't have any conflict of interest, because you don't have any some people who are directly associated with you. So you have to give that statement for IEEE before starting with the conference. Okay. Then timeline for finance chair. So I have included a timeline also. I will quickly go through that. You have to submit the budget well in advance. This is very important. So you ensure that IEEE ideally suggests some activities to be done even before 2 years. So you should at least ensure that you submit all these things before 1 year itself, like draft budget, the COI form, etc. The pre-conference kind of things. The tax details, etc. These many things you have to give before the conference, and some forms you have to submit after the conference. So finance chair should take care of all these things. Timely submission of financial related matters to IEEE, very important. Then after the conference, you have many closure forms like online financial report. Again, you have to submit the financial report after the conference. Again, it is an online form. Then another form is certification of accuracy form. Then schedule of payments form, proof of bank. I will come to that. This financial report you have to submit online, where the IEEE will ask for all the income expenditure details. You have to give it correctly according to your audit statement. Then certification of accuracy, it is another kind of form where this conference session and the conference chair has to sign. So that IEEE MC people will send you that form that you have to sign, and you have to send it as an email. It is not an online form. So you have to email it to the organization, the conference, the IEEE MC team. Okay. Then another form, it's a schedule of payments form, which is 1099 schedule of payments form. If you are making some payments to US citizens in terms of awards or honorarium, then only you need to submit this form. Otherwise, this form is not needed. Okay. Then another important form is proof of bank account closure. So you have to submit a form that you have closed your bank account, and again, the responsible officers of this conference has to sign in that, and you have to ensure that the conference account balance is here. That also you have to email to IEEE. Then, of course, you have to conduct the audit after the conference. Very important. And there are, it's a very important point regarding audit is that, so if your conference revenue or is above 250,000 US dollar, then you have to, then IEEE audit is very mandatory. Okay. So if your registration income is less than that amount, then you can have your own audit. IEEE doesn't mandate. Okay. But it is very important that if your conference revenue is beyond this limit, it is a big amount, 250,000 US dollar. And if you think that the income is above that, definitely you should contact IEEE and avail their service, because their audit rules are entirely different compared to our audit rules. Because otherwise you may come to an embarrassing situation after the conference, that if they ask for too many things, it will be difficult for you to handle, because the rules are entirely different. So this is a very important point. So there are different kinds of this as I mentioned, this IEEE financial responsibility is greater than 50%, and the that income out of the conference is greater than 250,000 US dollar, then IEEE conference auditing is mandatory. Otherwise, if it is less than that category, you can go for your own audit. Okay. Then auditors, if the IEEE is performing the audit, they will also charge. So you have to pay 0.6% of the revenue to IEEE for their auditors. Okay, that is very important. So if you are doing the audit by your own auditors, that again, that depends on your settlement with the auditor, how much you should pay to the auditor. Anyway, it is very important that all the IEEE conference must be audited. Okay, so you have to submit an audited report to IEEE, and you have to ensure that it is done properly with complying to all rules regarding audit, all rules regarding IEEE. Okay, that's all from my side. I am open to your clarifications or doubts. Santosh sir?
Yes. Yeah. I think tomorrow we have a panel discussion. I think most of the participants are reserving their questions to us there.
Okay.
Yeah. If the participants have any maybe short questions, maybe they can ask now, and otherwise we can close today's business. Biju sir, this is regarding the financially co-sponsored conferences, right?
Yeah, but in fact, both I have covered. The main difference is in the publication. Okay, if it is a financially co-sponsored conference, then you need not pay any publication. The publication fee is completely avoided. Okay.
No, this budgeting, auditing, etc.
Budgeting, the main difference in the budgeting is that in the expenditure part, the publication fee is not there for a financial.
Okay.
Most of the other expenditure comes for both the financially co-sponsored conference and technically co-sponsored.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I think Anu.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, Biju sir, for clearly explaining how to balance between the revenue, expense, and the surplus while we are conducting or organizing a conference. And I'm sure all the participants are clearly, all the matters are clearly presented, and all the participants are benefited with this. On behalf of all the participants and IEEE Kochi subsection, as a token of gratitude and appreciation, I would like to share a memento.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Yes,
yeah, once
thank
again,
you for your valuable presence.
Yeah, once again, thanks from my side to the organizers as well as the attendees. You can at any time you can contact me via mail or phone, and because many people used to connect with me. In fact, I think many of the attendees here also might be knowing me. So at any time I will be being an IEEE Kerala section office bearer. So I think it is my duty to support you in anything related to IEEE conference. I will be happy to support you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Biju, for that openness. Okay, participants. So we are closing for the day. I think you had, yeah. Please, Anu.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, participants, for actively participating in this workshop. Tomorrow, we will be having different interesting sessions and a panel discussion. Prepare your doubts and clear your doubts during the panel discussion. And please join by 6:25 at least tomorrow, so that we can start the workshop at correct time. So thank you. Good night. Stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.
Good night. Good night.